Welcome to Lessons in Life and Love with Riana Milne, where we show you how to have the positive mindset for success in all life areas so you can grow beyond difficult transitions and evolve from those challenging moments that may have influenced your past but will not define your future. It's time to have the life you desire and the love you deserve as we teach you the exact skills needed to attract and keep a lasting, emotionally healthy and conscious relationship. Now, please welcome your host, certified life, dating, and relationship coach, trauma professional, and best-selling author, Riana Milne.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to show 4 of Lessons in Life and Love. Man, do we have a good show for you. I'm so excited to be with you tonight. I am Global Certified Life, Dating, and Relationship Love Coach, Certified Clinical Trauma Professional, and the #1 best-selling author, Riana Milne. I'm known as a life and love transformation expert, and I'm on a mission to change the way the world loves. So I hope you, my listeners, act as my angels of love and my love transformers and will help me spread the word on how to have conscious, loving, and respectful relationships. Tonight's topic, as I previously promoted, is what is an emotionally healthy, conscious, and evolved relationship. However, I have an amazing surprise guest tonight. Jordan Kimball of the Bachelorette show just finished the season with Becca and currently is seen on ABC's Bachelor in Paradise. So we are going to get Jordan's opinion of what love looks like for the millennial man and what his opinion of the emotionally healthy relationship is. So I'm going to start with a little bit of info, and he'll be joining us about 15 after the hour. And all I want to begin is it all starts with you. You know, you can do your part to learn how to be emotionally healthy. And throughout this whole series of Lessons in Life and Love, that's what I'm here to do, to teach you the exact skills you need to attract and keep a fantastic love relationship. No matter your age, if you're male or woman, if you're single or in an exclusive relationship, the whole key is to have the education you need to have the life you desire and the love relationship that you deserve. So always take advantage of getting your personal questions answered during this live radio show. Even tonight, you can call in at 877-451-1451 to have your questions answered. Abraham will be picking up the call, my engineer, and just have your question ready. That's simple. And if you want to meet with me personally after the show, I always open my calendar for 7 free life and love transformation discovery sessions. You can meet with me personally for up to 1 hour. It's a $500 value. So just go to my website, rianamilne.com, and tell me your story. Remember to listen to all my past shows because each one builds on the next. So you want to get all that education from what I talked about before. Just go to boldbravemedia.com and hook in and make sure you're there with me. So here we go. I want to go into a little bit about the emotionally healthy relationship. And this is from my #1 best-selling book, Love Beyond Your Dreams, Break Free of Toxic Relationships to Have the Love You Deserve. And its sister book, Live Beyond Your Dreams, From Fear and Doubt to Personal Power, Purpose, and Success. They are meant to go together. And you can get free chapter downloads of both books on my website, rianamilne.com. So this is from the Love book. It's full. It's 464 pages of everything you need to know about love and what you need to be careful of about love, what is toxic and what is emotionally healthy. And I did over 2 years of research to write that book, so it's chock full of great information. So here's the top 10 tips of the emotionally healthy evolved relationship that involves these top qualities. So you can ask yourself if you're providing this to someone you love. #1 is solid foundation. That means it's the ability to trust and be trusted. You have confidence in who you are as an individual and as yourselves as a couple, and you share moral values and your vision for your future together. 2, flexibility. You're open-minded, you're caring, you're easygoing, like you're cool to be around, you're fun to hang out with, you're patient, understanding, emotionally open, and you allow for a safe and loving conversations about anything. It's just easy, guys. When it's real, it's easy. #3, fidelity, meaning You are honest, loyal, and act in integrity. And I always describe integrity as doing the right things when nobody's looking. And after all, God's watching, so you're going to be caught. So do the right things, because when you're doing it right by yourself, guess what? Your self-esteem and your confidence grows because you really love who you are. And that's a big secret to having an amazing love relationship. You, like you're really cool with who you are as a person. You know you're a good person. Number 4 is friendship. Like you're each other's best buddies. You have respect for each other. You're reliable. There's a lot of kindness and thoughtfulness, and you really are each other's best friend. Number 5, intimacy. That's a balance of love, deep friendship, sexual passion, daily affection, and fulfilling romance. A lot of the men that I work with, they say, well, wait, I'm married. Can't the romance stop? Do I really have to keep dating? Yeah, you do. If you still want some great sex and passion, guys, you got to keep dating your partner. Really important, especially after the kids come. You've got to find that time to get away and have really precious time and moments together. Number 6 is part of that, the fun. You have common interests, hobbies, shared activities. There's always something cool to do, a new adventure to be had, travel the world, see wonderful things, just explore and have a wonderful time together. 7 is compromise, negotiating differences, accepting each other's opinions. You are 2 separate individuals. You don't always have to agree. So that's showing enough respect to say, like, hey, babe, I don't really agree with you, but it's okay. Like, I totally respect your opinion. And you let it go. You don't need to ever force your opinion or yourself on your partner. You start doing that, we call it control. And control is one of the number 1 things that will ruin your relationship. You definitely will have the willingness to apologize when you recognize you do something wrong, and it's quickly and sincere. You don't just say, oh, sorry. That's so lame. I even teach my elementary kids in the schools to say what they're sorry for with a full sentence, like, I'm really sorry that I did this. That was not appropriate, and will you forgive me? So you do it with real sincerity and you say what you're sorry for. And just the opposite, if your partner apologizes to you, it is a spiritual thing to forgive. There is a limit if there's something very severe that happens, like a cheating episode. Spiritually, I say forgive once, have a new negotiation about how that relationship will move forward. And you don't want to go into a lot of anger or blame. You have to have empathy, and you have to look at what led to the breakdown of the relationship where an affair had happened. Number 8, balanced individuals. Both of you are enjoying healthy self-esteem and boundaries. You enjoy doing purposeful work. You're gratified with that, and you have a quality relationship with your family, friends, and your children. I describe it as an equilateral triangle, 3 equal sides of you, me, and us. And you enjoy your alone time as much as you enjoy that third piece, which should be equally important, the us time. Number 9, spirituality. You both have a belief and faith in something greater than yourself that provides guidance, and it demands some accountability, your moral fiber, your compass. You know right from wrong, and you always think, will this hurt me or my partner in any way? And when you have that accountability, then you're always doing what's best for the team. And when you have that, you're always watching out for each other, supporting each other, and keeping in mind your actions does affect your partner. Then you'll move forward with a lot of love and respect and integrity. Number 10, the positive mindset for success. Again, what's doing best for the team, being more positive in your life than negative, living in the light. That's a whole nother lecture. That's about really living in positivity and being grateful for your blessings each day. You see, intimacy can only come when both partners feel safe to risk and share who they are, their true authentic selves, without being controlled, put down, or criticized. And the couples that stay together, they know how to meet each other's fundamental needs and desires. And, they really have mutual high respect for one another. So it's really important that you realize that you can change the facets of yourself that you don't like or haven't been serving you well. The transformation won't come overnight, but there is definite ways to get to the other side of the rainbow, what I call it, if you're willing to work at it. And this is the whole foundation of life and love coaching, that you're willing to make a change and you believe in yourself, that you are willing to risk, open your heart and mind and say, yes, I want to learn what I have to learn to have amazing love in my life. People are born with an inner motivation to fulfill their full potential as a human being, and their number one core need is love. So people who have fulfilled their potential, Maslow, one of the human behavioral scientists, calls that being self-actualized. And he defines that as those who enjoy life without self-consciousness. They're truly authentic. They have the courage to take risks and be an individual. And they have the courage to be honest, even if their stand may be unpopular and not fit in with the crowd. They feel secure enough and have self-esteem to totally be themselves. It's funny. I was at this pool party yesterday in lovely Boca Raton, Florida, a place called the Waterstone Club Aqua. And my girlfriend and I, my best buddy, are just lounging around and having a great time. And we look across the pool and I'm there. That looks exactly like Jordan from The Bachelor, The Bachelorette. And she goes, I think it is. And I said, well, I think we should go over and say hello. And I said, that whole season, I think he got a bum rap. He said he had such a beautiful heart. He was trying to share it, and the guys were coming down so hard on him. I would love to have his point of view on my radio show. Like, who is he? Who's the real Jordan? And what's his stance on love? And what is he looking for as one of the millennial males? Because I have a lot of millennial females coming and wanting real love and marriage and a family and kids. And there's no good guys out there. And I got to tell you, Jordan and his friends, Nick and the other guys, they were all very friendly, very accepting of me saying hello. We had a great conversation for about 20 minutes, half hour. And I want to say he was most gracious. And I just want to thank him for last minute saying yes to being on the show tonight. And we had something also in common. I come from a modeling background of 35 years. My daughters grew up in my model and talent school, and I represented models, actors, singers, and dancers all over the world. And as a matter of fact, my daughter, Alexi, sings on 3 multi-platinum CDs and hosted a couple shows on HGTV. And she also modeled for Wilhelmina, where Jordan models. So we were chatting about the modeling industry and how it sometimes gets a bad rap because there's a lot of great people in the industry. And like anything, there's good and bad. But I just have to say, I want to thank him for being so gracious and open to speaking to me and my girlfriend. That was really lovely. I just want to really emphasize, people can change and improve their emotional health at any time. And the idea that people can change, we teach mindset work, reason, tapping into the consciousness to solve problems, and you can overcome any past childhood trauma or relationship trauma or abuse to live the life you desire and to have the life you deserve. And that's what my whole coaching is about. So it's really important you understand that you be a successful single or individual first, even if you're in a coupled relationship, to have the best success at love. So going over Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the first one is you have to have basic living skills, basic living foundation, food, water, sleep, have to be able to breathe, just live. And part of that is sexual connection or love. The number 2 is safety. Safety is security of employment, of resources, of mortality, of the family, health, property. Number 3 is love and belonging. So you want to have that core friendship, family, sexual intimacy, and the ability to feel love and belonging. All right, number 4 is self-esteem. You want to always learn, have a sense of confidence and achievement, respect of others, and by others. So that mutual respect comes with self-esteem, liking who you are. So the self-esteem, confidence, feeling great, and leaving a legacy. So self-actualization, that means you are now tapping into your creativity, your spontaneity about life, fun for life, problem solving, love of all, lack of prejudice, acceptance of the facts of what comes to you, and when the hardships come to you, we just look at it in a certain way. Here's a challenge. What should I do to handle this? So it's mindfulness and conscious living that occurs at the self-actualization stage. And this is what, once you tap into having conscious thinking and feeling wonderful about you and yourself as a successful single and doing what's for the right of all and the good of all, that's when the most fantastic love comes into your life. So I'm getting a cue from Abraham. Great. We have Jordan on the line. Let me do a proper introduction. I'm so happy to have Jordan Kimball joining us on Lessons in Life and Love tonight. He was just seen on Becca's season that ended a couple of weeks ago, The Bachelorette, and is currently a contestant on ABC's Bachelor in Paradise. So you can catch him this week and the rest of the season to see what's going on. And it's funny, when I went up and talked to him, I felt like I knew him because I knew the show. But I know there's a whole new and real Jordan beyond what we see in the show. So welcome, Jordan. Hello, how are you?
Hey, what's going on? I'm well. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for calling in.
Okay.
Let's get right down to it. Can you tell us a little bit about all your Bachelorette fans? Was there a real connection between you and Becca?
I think that people, they expect that we have a lot of time with her since it's a dating show and you are dating her. You don't get a lot of time with her though. It's very limited. And there's a lot of interruptions. Guys come in and interrupt, and if there's a problem with scheduling vehicles and stuff, the time gets shorter. So I mean, did I build a connection in the brief amount of time? Absolutely not.
Yeah. So do you think it's even possible to find love on this type of a show?
I do believe there's definitely a chance to find love. I think that it would be easier to find love on Paradise due to it's the exact opposite setup. You have all the time in the world with the person you want to date.
That's nice.
And you're not competing for one person. But on the Bachelorette or Bachelor, I think it's certainly a little more difficult to find love. Sure.
Okay, and how are you doing? You finding love on the island?
I think that the network has a great group of people. I don't think that you can find these ladies, in a Whole Foods in your neighborhood. I think they're very special and unique. I think that I've got a better opportunity to find love on Paradise than I do, anywhere else. So I'll say
That's great. That's great. Yeah, I'd like that dynamic, more women and more men together. Like when you have one woman and 35 guys, most of the guys don't have a lot of time.
Right. Yeah, and the number of people there on each side, between opposite sex, it's relatively close. It's always typically only one or two more of one or the other. So it works out pretty well.
Well, I'm anxious to see what happens for you. I certainly hope you do find love. Like, what would you be looking for? What is your desire personally, and what do you think the millennial male is looking for in his ideal partner?
Well, I think that the millennial male is probably looking for someone with a status. Millennials look for people. We gravitate to people with some kind of social standing. That's just the way it is. Our connection is Wi-Fi. I would say, just as a whole, speaking for the group of millennials, there are some of us that are hopeless romantics, sure. But for the most part, people are looking for someone that they can gravitate to socially and kind of lean on for their following. And I think that's why these shows get such a hard rep and such a following, because the girls want to date the guys from the show once they get off, and the guys want to date the girls off the show once they get off. And it's almost like people think we go on the show just for that to happen, So
why did you apply for the show? What was it that you wanted?
Figured out the best.
What did you want when you applied for the show?
Well, I was recruited, so I will say that. And I'm looking for love. Sure. I think that all the gentlemen and women that go on the show are looking for love. I just don't think that anyone really expects to find it. I think that you say, this girl seems great, or this guy seems great, and you give it a shot because, the person's got all these qualifications and they're very dateable. You watch them on the show beforehand, perhaps. You get to know them a little bit, and then you got a keen sense of whether or not it would work, before the first impression. Obviously, things change. The dynamic changes with energy and vibes and all that stuff in person. But, I mean, I think that Becca was a very dateable girl, and I think that a lot of the people on the show are very dateable for the most part.
Yeah, you seem like a really nice cast of people. There's always one or two a little difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I think sometimes you got a little bit of bad rap. Some of the guys were a little tough of you saying, the model. Now, yes, you were a very successful model in South Florida and probably globally with Wilhelmina. But who is the real Jordan? Like, tell us a little bit more about you, the guy, the man.
Well, it's funny. I've always had a lot of success academically. For people that don't know, I was granted several academic scholarships out of school. I did go and get an education in accounting. Went to school for business as well. You know, and people, I did get that model edit, you know, and that's okay. It's a part of what I do, but it's not something I typically really talk about so much. I don't really come from a lot, so I'm well versed in many things around the house. You know, I can fix a leaky pipe. You don't have to call a plumber.
Like that.
I can cook you a meal. You don't need to hire a chef. I'll do the brakes on your car. I'll do an oil change. You know, there's a lot of things that you become useful, you know, whenever you don't come from a lot. So there's a lot of things you learn. And I think that there was a lot of people saying, you know, is this all that he's good at? And it's like, well, you don't know me. And, you know, I think everyone's got to start living a little more in reality and less in a reality TV show, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm really glad you got to share that, because those types of qualities, that diverse male, is what a lot of us women love. You know, yes, let's cook together. Babe, can you help me with this chore? You know, I mean, you're right there willing to do it all. So that's a beautiful quality.
Women like acts of service. Women need acts of service. I've never dated a girl that didn't ever need something done, and maybe she didn't, maybe she couldn't get it done in time at the shop, or maybe, you know, it was late and she, you know, something at the house happened. You gotta be able to fix it. You gotta be able to be good with your hands with many things. So
I love that. Yeah, you know, it's really important. I work with a lot of successful people. They're successful in business but struggle in love. And there's a lot of communication today around, oh, well, women are just so masculine. Well, unfortunately, society has made us step up, you know, and work 3 or 4 jobs as maybe the mom who got divorced and had to take care of her kids. I mean, I was certainly one of those examples. And balancing running my model and talent school and agency with, you know, writing books and, you know, then becoming a therapist and then a counselor in schools. I mean, at one point I had the 5 jobs. So when I have that man say to me, babe, I got you, you know, that's like, oh, thank you. You know, if they can help me out in some way and make me feel like the feminine woman I want to be, you know,
well,
that's a blessing.
I almost kind of want to speak on that, you know. So I had, before signing with Wilhelmina, I had 2 full-time jobs in school and, you know, trying to get my body to its absolute peak, to, you know, be a competitive, you know, male model. I always tell people, you know, I'm not one of the most beautiful men in the world, but I certainly compete with them. And, you know, the moment that I had a lot going on, and the moment that I quit my 9 to 5 is actually the moment that things really started happening for me. But to get to that point, to have that work ethic and that drive, and to have your back against the wall and not have anyone doing anything for you, if you can do things alone, then you can do things at any point in time. You can do whatever you want. So I think as a guy, more guys need to start being like that. I don't think certainly women need to be going through things alone. Women should always have their dad or, you know, a brother or, you know, a gentleman in their life that can help them out. But men, we're supposed to be a little more strong-willed. And, and, you know, it's that coming from nothing and having to work for what I had. That's why I have the ability to own what I do and stand up for myself so much against the guys in the house, because it seemed like so many of them had insecurities and a lack of confidence, and they hadn't had their way around the world, and they hadn't learned, you know, who they are or what they can do, and they set limits on themselves, and then they see me come in and they're like, you're not supposed to be able to do this stuff. And it's like, well, hold on.
You know, I totally get that. I totally hear you with that. It's, you know, again, I had a lot of models and actors, all ages, fashion types, and commercial real people, beautiful people who could act, like gorgeous men, gorgeous women, even elderlies. I had senior models that were really sharp looking and could act. But a lot of people gave them a bad rap because they were attractive. And it's like, hey, you know, we're just making a living. You know, we do this because it's creative or we enjoy it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You know, and to come down hard on us because that's just something we did. And my modeling was something to help support the family. And I love doing it. I'm like, you know, I can help other people get there too. So I really enjoyed having the talent agency so I could put others on the map and help them realize their dream. And that was why I love doing it. You know, my daughters included. So, you know, it's this whole preconceived notion of judgment, right? Where people are hurting other people emotionally. And if they could just everyone be their own authentic selves and just relax and say, who are you? You know, tell me more about you. Oh, you model. That's cool. So what else, you know, what else are you into? And that's why, you know, I wanted to find out more about you, because I saw glimpses of this really nice, sweet guy. And I'm like, why aren't they bringing that part out?
But, you know, and it's funny, a lot of the guys from the show, you know, they talk about, you know, they've spoke about the Bachelorette. They say, you know, the models and all them, they never really make it to the end because, you know, the lead is able to see through their gimmick and this and, you know, this and that. And it's like, well, hold on a second. I'm sorry. you're saying that someone in a position in a career has a gimmick just because of what their career is. I mean, even a banker could go in with ulterior motives to being on the show. Anyone can go in with, ex football players. I mean, everyone can have their ulterior motives. Being a model does not put me in a bad position right off the rip. That's ridiculous.
That's right. Yeah, and it's the preconceived notion, which is sad from some of the guys. I thought that wasn't fair, and that's why I said, I want to talk to you. And I said before you came on the call, you were very gracious. You and Nick and your other friends, you didn't push me away because I'm an older lady. You're like very cool. You were very open and friendly, and I said, this is the Jordan I want people to know and love because you seem like such a great guy.
And that's what everyone says to me. The first thing they say to me is, wow, you're very handsome in person. And I say, I chuckle you typically because it's funny to me. I say, oh, thank you. And they also typically say, they go, wow, I can already tell you're a little more down to earth than like what I thought you were. And that's just immediately upon shaking my hand in most times. So I appreciate you picking up on that. And I absolutely
very much a gentleman.
We talked for a while.
Yeah, we did. That was very cool. You're very much a gentleman. And, I said, this is what I want people to know. Now, when women tell me, like, they're so concerned in their 20s and young 30s, like, our whole culture is a hookup culture. And I got to tell you, I saw, Netflix Spring Break, and it was like, holy crap, I'm glad my kids are in their 20s, my girls. Like, if this is what's happening in their 20s, this is, like, so heart-wrenching. What's your opinion on that? Is it as crazy with hookups as it appears? Or is that just spring break week? I mean,
I can definitely speak on that. Being someone that used to do event hosting and promoting and, in the nightclub scene, it's pretty bad. I will say that. A lot of the young, Jesus, it's really bad actually. It's all in the name of fun, but, that's also why you see some of these things becoming epidemics that shouldn't be epidemics. And it's I don't know. It's I could be biased because I was in that scene. There seems to also be a lot of people that are virgins nowadays that are holding on to it, and so it's hard for me to say. Maybe because I was around the party crowd, I saw it so much, it became a norm to me. But I would say for me, for my side of things, absolutely the hookups are they're real, and there are women and guys hooking up with a different person, every day for maybe even 2 months out of the year. That summertime, boy, it's rush time.
It's crazy like that. Now, you just coming off the show, do you have pressure to be the opposite? Like you want to say, hey, like this is not who I am, and you have more. Is it more integrity or confidence to not do that? Do you think it's people coming from a lesser place?
Yeah, I always kind of walk around like a shiny penny, and not to say that I'm worth more than anyone else, but. I don't want to, I only want to be seen with another shiny penny. And with that being said, I absolutely do have integrity and I have confidence in what I want. And I'm not looking for someone that's just going to, reach out to me via social media and tell me, hey, I want to hook up. That's not really what I'm into.
Good.
But does that happen? Are those people that do that? Sure. I believe so. But you've got to be very careful nowadays. Everyone wants something, and things can be used against you. And there's politically correct this, politically correct that, and
right. And let's not forget. I hate to be a fuddy-duddy on this, but I have to study this for my licensure as a licensed mental health counselor. But every 3 years we have to do HIV training. And do you know the number one area for HIV in our country now is Broward County, Florida? That's scary.
Broward, really?
Yeah, that's for everyone else. That's Miami, Fort Lauderdale area. Yeah.
Yeah, that's wow. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So it seems like they don't even think about it. That whole the whole STDs, HIVs, all the letters. Hepatitis A, B, C. It's out there. It's real.
Yeah. Well, and I think that everyone should be getting tested. Every 3 months, anyways. I think that it really should be that often. With all the things going on nowadays, you just never know, and everyone should be safe too. So
yeah. So what I advise my younger men and women that I work with who really want quality love is just have faith in yourself of who you are. Be strong. Be confident. You don't need to sleep around. You wait till you find that amazing person where you have this vision together that you're like, yes, this is falling in line. Yes, I can see this going forward. And you just take your time. And I always say, to my ladies, if the guy really digs you, if he really likes you, he's willing to wait. He's not going to push you because he likes you. You know, he really wants to see if something works with you. Is that my generation, or do you feel the same?
No, so I mean, obviously, whenever you've got a piping hot girl next to you, typically you're very eager. But right. It is the absolute best thing to wait. It really is. That's what builds a connection. It's what makes the heart grow fonder. It's what, burns that desire all the way to the tip. And then finally, when you have that moment, it's a true pinnacle. And it means a lot more too. And the people that rush into just immediately being physical, it ends up becoming toxic, and it becomes very lustful. And lustful relationships typically aren't so full of love.
Right.
So, it's
I totally agree with you, and I'm glad to hear that's coming from you as well, and your generation. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what would you define as your perfect girl? What would you want?
A perfect girl.
Or the girl for you?
There's not really. Okay, so I prefer blondes. Blondes, blue eyes. That's really like my go-to thing. The rarity, the thing that would really, really set me off physically would be like, something that would really just I'd run after. Would be like a girl that's like 5'8", brown wedges, medium blue jeans, frilly red top, long brunette hair down to the middle of her back, and green eyes with a sharp tan and red lipstick. Now, if I saw that walk across the road, I'm not letting it get away. I have a thing for I like Spanish girls and like the blondes, but I've never met that brunette with the green eyes yet. So who knows? It's a perfect girl. Okay, so she's got to be smart. She absolutely has to be intelligent and
love that.
Somewhat independent. I don't want someone that needs me all the time. Someone that's a nurturer. It's someone's got to take care of my mini-me. So, someone that nurtures, someone that is kind of street smart, so has some common sense as well as, that higher level cognitive thinking. And that's someone that smiles with their eyes. That's really it.
Beautiful. I love it. I love the internal qualities that you hit on. Nurturing, loving, independent enough, but still able to show love and affection towards you. You're hitting on everything that's emotionally healthy, which is great. Yet you're still the man, you know visually exactly what you like. I do tell my listeners the caveman brain has 7 times the sexual center of the brain than the woman. So he will always fall for attraction first, and that is his main need, and that is really God set it up that way to procreate the race. And women's number one need is security. So because she's a childbearer, okay, so she will always want to feel safe with that guy. And this is where that whole discussion, masculine, feminine energy, blah, blah, she too masculine. Well, again, our society in today's world say most women are working. Most women have to do that to help support the family or the children, or if she's separated, definitely support the kids. And yet she really has that need to feel safe with her guy. That never will go away. I don't care how wealthy the woman is. That is her inbred, most important need in her life. So you hit on some really great things. And Jordan, I want to ask you this question as one of the last questions, and there will be a question of every guest that I have on. What lesson in life or love did you learn from your show experience? What did it teach you?
Ooh, from my show experience. I'm not going to say that I learned it. I'm going to say that I became more of a believer of it, though. I'm going to say it's something I went in thinking was true, and then I left knowing it was true. Is that okay?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. It's the fact that, you absolutely cannot find your soulmate, and you cannot date someone unless you are authentically yourself. If you are hiding anything or putting up any kind of facade, guys, that's a red flag. That's something that, you lose trust immediately off that, whether it be a white lie or not. And if someone asks, hey, what about this part of you? And, if you think that you're just going to give an answer just because you want to have something in common with that person, you're cheating them. That's not fair. So you have to be yourself.
I'm sorry. Keep going. I love it. I love this answer. That's really
so, there's that. There's
awesome.
that. And, it's a lot of people, they feel scared to be honest. And that breaks my heart because we're all so special. We all have memories that make us who we are and things that shape us as people. whether it be financially, emotionally, it's all a part of the process of, being a human. We all have our own experience. Not one of us is exactly the same. And I always tell people to showcase whatever it is that makes them special. And you will, if you shine light on that, someone will see it. And guess what? That's going to be someone that's going to appreciate it if it catches their eye, and they're going to cherish that forever. And you're a part of that. Attached to your best qualities are you. So
that's right.
Own that, be yourself, and you're going to have a very successful time dating.
Yes. And that's one thing I noticed about you. Your smile is very genuine and warm. And like I said, we chatted, you were very down to earth and very cool. And I said, I do hope you find somebody very special, because you really do deserve it. You're a nice guy.
Well,
one of the good ones, that. Jordan, one of the good ones. What's next for you after Paradise? Do you know? What's going to go on for you?
What's next for me? You're going to see me get in the best physical shape you've ever seen me in, and you're going to see me, it's going to be a full-on takeover of whatever my head's geared towards. I'm very business ambitious. I'm looking to do business in the industry that I'm a part of, which is talent. And I want to grow my brand. And, grass only grows where you water it, and eventually I want to have a really nice, green, lush front lawn. So I'll put it in terms like that for you.
Yes.
Hopefully in the next year you'll see me maybe get some more TV time, and some more billboard grabs, and a little more time in the modeling world. And I hope that you guys get to see me develop. And you've seen a bit of my personality, and if you follow me on social media, you'll absolutely see who I am every day. And it's all a process. You learn from things, and I certainly took some things away from the TV show, and I feel like a better person for it. And anything that makes me better, I really cherish. So
beautiful, really beautiful. Where can people find you mostly? Do you hang out on Facebook, Instagram? Where do you want them to connect with you?
Ooh, Facebook. I have not. Listen, my Facebook notifications have been insane lately. I'm scared of Facebook right now. Okay. You can definitely find me on Instagram at Jordan _ Kimball, and Twitter. Twitter is really good right now. I love Twitter, so I can put out some witty one-liners with that. So.
Okay, awesome. Well, I hope you come back and visit us, and I'll be keeping an eye on you and send my prayers your way for huge success. And just keep leading with your heart, honey. You'll be doing fine.
That really touches me that you said that. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming by and visiting us. Is there anything more you'd like to share with anyone?
I think we'll get deeper next time. But
perfect.
I think that's good for now.
All right, my dear. I know you have a 7 p.m., so I don't want you late. So thanks again for stopping by, being on Lessons in Life and Love, and I hope to see you in person again down the road.
No problem. All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye-bye. Again, I want to thank Jordan Kimball for sharing his ideas on emotionally healthy love. And my ladies that I work with, so you can see there are wonderful guys still out there. Don't lose hope. The key is not to get involved with hookup culture. You don't need to be there. The guys that are worth dating and the ladies worth dating, for my men listeners, are on the other side of that. They're not involved with that. They don't care. Why? Because they have personal self-esteem that they don't need to go down that road. So let's go into the rest of what emotionally healthy love is. What does it mean for someone to have emotional health? So here's a few tips. 1, the ability to step back and look at yourself honestly. And this is what we were talking about, being your real and authentic self. Looking at the patterns that might have occurred in your past and how are they affecting your present life. And this is what I do, called Awake to Awareness, with my clients right away. Any childhood trauma they might have had, any early dating or relationship trauma, we look at that, and we look at the patterns that they might be bringing into their life or adult love, and we make sure that they don't do that any longer. And they're all very unconscious. It's part of their quote-unquote normal of what they grew up with. So the patterns and choices that you've made concerning your work, your relationships, and your social life should all be examined. And once you've identified patterns, you're one step closer to knowing yourself and what you want and you need out of life. And knowledge is power. So once we get rid of the things that do not serve you emotionally and psychologically, and you become very strong in your power and your self-esteem. And we're not talking egotistical. We are talking self-esteem, two totally different things, and teach you also to live in the light so that your choices, you're well aware, affect your partner, the rest of your environment, and your world. So you're always looking at, are you doing the right things to help others as well as yourself? Number two, the ability to change. Deciding to change can be scary. People underestimate how hard it can be sometimes. But because of that, they tend to be too hard on themselves. And when change doesn't happen overnight or immediately, and they give up. So when I coach, I work with people 3 to 6 months, and there's a solid reason and research for that. 3 months, you are quitting the old patterns and you're starting to get into that mode of the new you, the new life, and you're really starting to enjoy it. 6 months, it becomes totally easy. Your mindset has changed. It becomes a way of life. Ideally, I like to work with 6 months with people, but I do have 3-month programs as well, just to totally transform who you are, what you think about life, love. Even though you might have been hurt or in a long-term marriage and you're afraid to get out and date, remember, knowledge is power. So we give you all that information you need to date successfully. Number 3, the ability to increase your boundaries of responsibility. So as a process of identifying what interpersonal, vocational, or educational skills you might be lacking, we start working towards improving them. We call that looking at our life wheel. We look at everything, our friendships, our finances, creativity, weight, income, career, our interactions with our parents, relationships with children. We look at everything in our life wheel and come up with 2 to 3 goals of what we want to change to make our lives happier and more productive. With coaching, we identify what life skills you might be lacking and benefit from learning various social skills, since managing anger, anxiety, stress, and the more you learn about coping and handling these new skills, the more satisfied you're going to feel about life. Here we go. We're up to number 4. The ability to take responsibility for your own thoughts, feelings, and actions. So this means not blaming others for bad things that happen to you or waiting for others to make you happier. You accept the fact that you ultimately are responsible for your own happiness. So you don't want to be someone that says, oh, he doesn't make me happy. You don't make me happy anymore. No, it's up to you to make yourself happy. And then they are just that, that icing on the cake. Together, you have an amazing time. So you focus on the choices you have, what's within your power to become more successful. You must not make excuses or blame others for your thoughts and actions that have to make you unhappy. Like, you are the one responsible for your own happiness. Number 5, you have the ability to trust and be open to your feelings. So you want to accept every feeling you have. Jordan and I talked about being authentic, being your honest self. If you feel anxious, don't tell yourself there's no reason to be. Don't mask it with drugs. There's a reason. Your body is telling you something. I'm anxious because. And then my clients learn to take the mindset and the skills that I taught them to overcome their own anxiety without psychotropic drugs. We have holistic things that my clients do, including meditation, to help eliminate and lessen anxiety, depression, cortisol, which is your flight or fight chemicals. It also keeps weight on, and your blood pressure. They all get lowered, and then we increase serotonin and dopamine at centers of the brain, which are feel-good and happy chemicals. So you can do that all naturally, and there's certain ways that you learn to do that. But anxiety is a message. So when you get rid of the majority of anxiety and you're starting to feel it, you start questioning, what is my body telling me? Why am I feeling anxious right now? What do I need to do to take action to make that go away? And you just do it with a very sense of calm and peace. And again, it's the same thing in communicating your feelings to your loved one, to your partner. It should be with a sense of calm and peace and confidence. Honey, this is how I feel. It's okay if you feel different. That's fine. Let's just understand each other's point of view and move forward. And that's it. There's never a time to yell at each other in a relationship unless your partner's in harm's way. And you have to yell at them to get their attention so they don't get hurt. That's the only time. So, you need to learn those communication skills to be able to talk through those issues that could be difficult or you just don't agree. But you have to have respect for the other's feelings and opinion. And, our world is becoming more and more stressful. Stress and frustrations are here to stay. And, Jordan was talking about, all the internet and Wi-Fi, and the millennials have totally grown up with that. And I grew up with just a laptop computer coming out. It was like the size of a sewing machine after the big ones. And then that was the first portable. And just seeing that whole transition in computer world. And it was supposed to make our life easier. And I swear, it's like now keeping up with social media and postings and advertising and reaching your tribe and your people to tell them, hey, this is what I'm doing, come join me, takes a lot of time, so it's a whole different atmosphere of demand. The stress is there. So we have to learn to balance and schedule and definitely take our time off for fun. We've got to develop the coping skills to handle the stress and frustration so it doesn't get to us and ruin our relationships. Number 7, the ability to be flexible in our thinking. We have to perceive things from many different viewpoints and not be too rigid or controlling when dealing with a problem. Again, many successful people in their careers come home and want to be controlling to their partners. It's the number one thing you can do to, kill your relationship. Because when you're strong and in charge and in control of your job, or you're an entrepreneur and the whole business is depending on you being in personal and self-control, you still need to learn to drop that when your partner gets home and chill from a softer side, both men and women. And this is why going out together is so important, that you just relax and be in the moment of each other and the romance and enjoying their presence, music. Down here in Florida, we love the ocean, chilling with a glass of wine. I mean, that is fun, and you've got to work yourself into that so it's you balance out the stress. I always used to say work hard, play hard. Now I'm at the point where I want to play a little bit harder. That's where I'm at. Number 8, the ability to recognize when you have a problem. If you're having wide fluctuations of mood, terrible sleeping, a loss of appetite, feeling consistently irritable or moody, or chronically angry or depressed, it's time to do something about it. You have to recognize that you need help. This is a great time to start your coaching. You know that you're angry, you're just not able to get beyond that stress or the negative mindset, the negativity. And I got to tell you, when you are living in the light and you feel amazing about your life and yourself and your friends and your family, there's nothing like it, So I always say, investing in yourself to say yes to yourself now is so important, because we don't know how much time we have. And once you learn these skills, you've got them forever. So it's so cool. You want to strive for emotional health and self-actualization, like I discussed in the beginning of the show, but it is always an ongoing educational process throughout life. You always want to keep studying. It's like watering the flowers, it's watering the food, is keeping the learning, the education, keep growing. I love Tony Robbins when he says, if you're not growing, you're dying. And I totally agree with that. You have to keep learning and feeding the mind, the good food, the good lessons, so that you still always feel amazing about yourself and your life. So the process of growth towards any goal is a sign of good emotional health. So your emotional health is the beginning start of the great relationship. Why? Because when you feel amazing about yourself, your aura is shining. I've had strangers come up to me on the street and say, you've got this amazing turquoise aura. It's always turquoise they see, or purple, and which are my 2 favorite colors. Someone asked me that today. So, when you hear that from a total stranger, Or, when you walk in the room, the room lights up. When you hear that, it's because you just feel good and happy about life and about yourself. So, what makes you the happiest is what you want to invest your time in. And what is making you distressed, feeling depressed or anxious, you have to invest the time to get beyond that. And much of that is coming from childhood trauma. So I hope you enjoyed today's show of Lessons in Life and Love, because that's all we have time for today. Again, thank you so much for Jordan Kimball for coming on live. Make sure you catch him in Bachelor in Paradise, going on right now on ABC. If you didn't have a chance to ask your questions tonight, email me at lessonsinlifeandloveshow@gmail.com. And next week, we're going to continue to find the topic of emotionally healthy love and relationships. Riana Milne, Lessons in Life and Love on BBM Global Network.
We want to thank you for joining us on this episode of Lessons in Life and Love with Coach Riana Milne. Your personal journey of life and love transformation has only just begun. Go to RianaMilne.com for more resources. And if you're really ready to take action to improve your life or love situation, apply now for a free Life and Love Transformation Discovery Session with Riana, a $500 value. Just contact Riana with your questions and to tell her your story at RianaMilne.com. And remember, it's time to have the life you desire and the love you deserve.